All right, good morning. This is Tuesday, August 6th, 2024, and this is following possible historic day that we've had. The NASDAQ was down about 5.5% last night, about 1,000 points, and a little over 4% for the ES. Really close to triggering a limit down, which I believe is 7%, looks like in a week. And Japan, the Nikkei was down about 12%. South Korea ended up halting as well. Japan had to halt. Just a real chaotic opening for Monday. However, that was in the past. We ended up selling off extremely hard. Do not be deceived by this. You can look at a homework from last night for more information. But it was an excellent showcase from the buyers. The buyers ended up balancing in the middle for ES, high middle for the NASDAQ, closing somewhat strong on the biggest volume we've seen this year, and ended up drifting up. In our homework last night, we talked how the ES needed to hold above this green zone. You can see the details there. And then the green zone here for the NASDAQ themselves. Of course, we're still in this same situation. So I would imagine this is still somewhat bullish for MQ, but as you can see, we were really close to breaking through here, and we have some singles under in this area. This is our previous test. So if if this is an area that we can hold, this would be the same thing as yesterday, where we put in the higher low before the RTH open. If we can do that again, that'd be solid. And that level at the top of this zone is basically the 18,000. So a good century. Is it a century or I'm not sure. So we're about 100 points from that area on the Nasdaq. So defense is needed. We are in a extremely high volatile market. So ranges are going to be a bit extreme and exaggerated today. So this is just something to be mindful of. That can happen in 2 minutes. It can happen in 2 seconds, actually. Anything we need to look at exactly, we're about a little over 300,000 around 6 o'clock, 30 minutes before the open. So really good range, which is, what is this, 80, and nice volume. We have 420 on the NASDAQ and pretty good volume. About neutral for the NASDAQ, about 3K positive for the buyers. And I would imagine there was a decrease in the cumulative delta headed into RTH as we were near the highs and we ended up pushing down. Doesn't look like it was too well traded, and we just came back to the balance from yesterday. Same situation here. Came back into balance yesterday. That area is too strong. Some of the biggest volume that we've seen, we're just coming back into balance. So this is what I kind of assumed yesterday, that we were gonna, tick above here, because we already saw this the time we were doing the review, and I would imagine we will balance somewhere in here given this huge range. So it's possible that today is a balancing day. We're not sure. We're not in the business of predicting. We'll go ahead and pull up our notes across the board. Again, you can look at last night's homework to see the sectors and their performance. For today, we just had the 5:30 data, which is already passed. We'll take a look at that. Pretty low. We have a couple earnings that's already came out. I can possibly look at this at CT News. stocks. If you really care, feel free to kind of stop here and see if anything. I don't see anything too crazy for like news overnight. Nothing too big from a geopolitical event. I'm not too privy and knowledgeable on what's going on overseas with their politics and their economic situation. I won't even try to waste the time with that. Okay, so as of right now, this is still neutral. A small hint on the bullish side. Actually, let me write this down. Bullish above, bearish below. We need more information. So I'm just writing by hand. Try this a little differently today. Yesterday was a bit emotional with the price action and just the market as a whole. So I'm doing my best to manage all of this properly and stay solid. So just a bit slowing down. Take a quick look at a few of the markets. We got gold. Looks like we'll be gapping down. RTY looks like we're in about the same situation. Crude, similar to gold. Bonds, small gap up. Interested to see where we are with the VIX. Drifting lower. Dollar, small gap up. Okay. Yeah, I'm working on with these charts, so just bear with me. I'm actually just going to minimize these. Actually, no reason to have my trading up. Go ahead and put this back on sim and lock it. Just go ahead and get these ready. Just in case we have something that shows this is going to be. Okay, perfect. Okay, we have 7 minutes until the open. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the spreadsheet, which I do not have open. See if we can glean any information from our opening posture. As we expected, it's a bit bullish, but mild hold, drift lower towards the end. We're about even on the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, which is typically bearish from my past experience. Remember, we have updated our quote board settings, so this should refresh a lot quicker. So we have our opening change, which is going to be where we are now compared to where we closed previously, the settle. 20 points away from settle. 80 points from settle. I know there's a bit of information you can see there. I'm just doing the math in my head. But again, just small notes. This is a bit bearish with tech not leading as they normally are. But we'll see if the ES is just really strong. Apple, we're still selling off. Everyone else is primarily holding. I do want to keep a look on Amazon and Apple today. Of course, NVIDIA as always, and everyone else will see. So there wasn't any big orders, like a small flurry that came in. That was 5 minutes to start the day. Somebody wanted to get ahead of something here. This is interesting to see. Oop, sorry about that. Tried to block the mic a little bit. Let me bring up my recording software so I can just mute that for the future. I think there's a button I can press, but I don't want to mess anything up for now. So again, very nice setup here. Also, we want to look at this Broadcom here. I see you floating around at 30 basis points. Everyone is doing well here. I'm going to go ahead and add the XLU. Alright, perfect. Okay, and then we have negative 10% on VIX. And again, this is the small bearishness that I was referring to for gold and crude oil. We'll go ahead and stop here. We pumped up. Notice that tech is leading again. This is what I want to see. I want to see them completely separating from the pack. We live and die by the NQ. This is that small pump that I was referring to. But we're going to go ahead and get off of this time frame, the 3 minute. That way we can have a little better insight to what's going on. Yesterday when we were in the 3 minute with the DOM, I believe I ended up getting a bit overstimulated. I pretty much looked at the DOM the whole day, which feels to me like a death sentence now. I was just a bit drained. I did learn a lot by looking at the DOM and calibrate my system to pick up on that information. That was a nice stop run that we're hitting here. So we're going to approach today a little differently, much more composed. So we're 2 minutes into the open. We have a good idea of what we're looking at. We know which stocks, which equities we want to primarily look at. Seems like people are running out the door before the opening starts. This would be nice to see a nice hold from the buyers. That was about a 30-point drop here. We ended up holding. I really love looking at the DOM here. I'll avoid commentating for now so we can let it speak for itself. Only thing that we did not do today is do the zones. So I'll see if I can take a quick peek at that, and you can just look at the DOM. But ideally we want to see if there's any particular zones that we'll be interested in. I believe it's better to do this on a candle chart. So definitely like this area up here. It has to be something that's completely glaring, or I don't want it. I'm not looking at the DOM, but it's definitely some orders coming in. People are offsetting their trades before the open. For me, that's a lot of weak hands. And that's indicative of something that's going on here. I'm curious. I'm gonna go ahead and go on mute and we'll watch here. Gonna add a few notes here. Again, we're only 50 seconds in. We're seeing a lot of orders. This is nice. Go ahead and scoot this over to the right time. Go to end of chart. These are going to be 15-minute candles. Again, we're not looking at anything in particular. Um, just another way to look at this information. Also gleaning this delta here. And then we have our 130-minute candle, which is going to be 2 hours and 18 minutes. This should break the session up into, I think it's 7 candles. It's like 7 or 8, something like that. All right. As we see, the tech is still trying to push. We're going to go ahead and peek. Pardon me for flipping, but I'm looking for this baby right here. We need to detach you. We're going to clear this out. So I'm looking here, but I see the S&P 500 in my peripheral is pushing up a little before tech. Of course, it's with the assistance of it, but that was coming from P and that XLU. So we're already pushing another little 60 points here. Again, we don't have any data at the moment. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna save and close this chart. Nothing we need to glean at this moment. Look at that candle on the NASDAQ. Okay, and you see we are in the previous days. You know, I don't need to look at the 3-minute. Talked about this yesterday. If you really want to, we can try turning this into an hour. I want to give this a little more respect regarding the higher time frame. Compressing this NASDAQ chart. And that's down another, what was that? About 40 points. So the ranges aren't as dramatic from what I recall. Again, they look like there felt like there was some uncertainty. I don't need this relative volume because I can see it, I can feel it. That's just taking up space. And these are hourly candles that we're looking at. So yeah, we opened up right in this a little higher the balanced area. Something to be mindful of. Yeah, we're gonna need more information. Pull in that VolVix to this other chart. Nice. We're going to take a little less stimulation. Notice we have some buyers down here still. At least looking on the resting orders down here. Anything that's above 350 is going to be highlighted. I'm not sure I actually have it on above 100 here. And again, this is compressed. So the actual accuracy of this, I'm not too for sure. But if it's like a whole bunch of buyers grouped up over 100, we'll see it black on the bid and the offer side. 7 minutes into the session. We're going to go ahead and save this here. I like the way this looks. This gives me a higher time frame perspective, as well as what we're looking at here, which is basically just a continuation of yesterday. Just a reminder. So again, ideally we want to hold above really this 02 to 75 area, now that I look at that. What does that look like here? Yeah, this doesn't have to be an area like once we touch here, that's bad. I mean, I did put this alert here yesterday. I remember once we break through there, that's a bad sign, but I want to just put this as like history. I think I may actually need to switch. I think this would need to be like the battle zone area, and this will need to be the line in the sand. Just for me visually, so I'll see. Here, once we hit this gray area, imagine a lot of whacking around, a lot of fighting here. But we really want to see how we respond here. So I mean, as of right now, we're opening in balance. We don't have enough information. So let me go back here. Actually, we hold above and use that support, which is kind of what we're doing here. Again, as this is a continuation from the prior day. This looks bullish here. We're holding above and possibly shoot upwards. We don't have any 7 a.m. data right now, so we have limited to work with. I'm not really seeing anything too much on the order book besides that people want to trade a little lower. They're willing to buy lower as well, so they show on the book. Personally, I want to see us test this clear 18,100 level, the 1800 level for the NQ, and see how we defend on this lower portion of that area. So far for the range, we're looking at 19 points. However, we're only 20 minutes in. So if we can kind of compress here, again, that puts us in a rule where we need to wait another bracket after an open auction beginning. So we'll need to remain patient, but that's just more information. Hopefully we can calm down a little bit. We don't really have too much going on, but just imagine that you're helping someone and they're just really erratic and just crying and just they're you're just hearing like whining. You're just hearing them, just crying, and you're not hearing any words. You can't really help them. That's kind of what it feels like the past couple of days. So I hope today we can like just breathe, relax, maybe just take a moment and do what we're gonna do. So balance leads to imbalance, and balance leads to balance. Um, I think we're just looking for some kind of balance right here. It's a nice little drop there. 40 points headed to 50 points, and we're immediately back up. I like seeing the buyers who were willing to, all right, I'm here, and they kind of go away. I'm not seeing any huge spoofing right now, so nothing intentional. It just seems like people are just kind of in here, just waiting. Yeah, we don't have anyone willing to buy like right in front of these lows. Yeah, people are just kind of stepping in and getting away. So you want to take these with a grain of salt, but I just like seeing that from a quick glance. I extended this offer section, the depth, so I can see a little bit more as we are more volatile. It only goes down about 7 points. I can do more, but anything more, I pass. So we're pressing down on these lows, some nice volume. Volume is increasing for sure. We know that there was some liquidity down here that were showing their hands. So we think volume isn't super crazy. I'm not seeing any bunch of like huge block sales or anything like that. So I'm actually gonna turn this up. If we really want to, I like having Pricesquawk on, but I'll hold off on the order flow audio for now. Take a quick peek here. So I'll make a benchmark at 45. But the ones that we wanted to see, hopefully hold. Apple is down. Wait, why am I missing this for? Oh, I did cut. Holding strong. There we go. So there were some, but it's just like a flurry of people. So this feels like smaller hands. So now we're back in our DGPs. Prior day DGPs, we're at the high right now for both. If there's short hands, we should have some people hoping to buy here. Possibly not much continuation, but we'll see. Again, sellers are in control. Sellers are in control. Sellers are in control. Sellers have the upper hand as well. And sellers are in control. Just making sure I'm reminding myself of that. So that was a few big orders, and then it seems like people hopped on. This was what I was talking about with the small hands. So I'm not sure if that was somebody taking profit, someone initiating a position. We're not sure. What I do know is that we have another 12, 10 seconds now before the end of this 1 minute candle. And then we have one more 1 minute candle, and then we'll be at the 15 minutes. We'll take a quick look and see what's happening. These are the micros right here. Let me turn off this trade chart because we're not looking to trade at the moment. So we have a huge impulse up, and then we have a rejection. We tried to hold on NQ, on the S&P 500 actually. It completely went down, and we're still trading lower. NQ was much weaker. We had to follow through, and now we're trying to at least get back above water. But we'll see how that goes. Let's turn off this trade chart as well. My apologies. So for this zone that we have, for this zone that we have for this balanced action, the two-way trading, the up and then the down, we're opening up at the bottom of this range. So I mean, we've seen this a little bit last week. If we're opening in this bottom in this range, this tends to be a bit more bearish, especially given the way we're starting to look. The few companies that I was eyeballing, they are not doing well. They're kind of pushing us over. Those were the like teetering effects. The defensive stocks are pumping, so money is definitely being distributed there. Energy, utilities, industrials, finance is doing well. It's just tech right now. So this is why tech is a bit weaker. So if we're short, we need to be looking short tech, depending on how. Oh, I didn't do my benchmark. Depending on how we hold. Depending on how we hold for some of these other sectors. So this just is not about tech today. This feels like a typical day, a typical higher volatility day, not the craziness that we've seen recently. So we're going to look at this difference here. This is the column that we're looking at. We're going to attach this to the chart. Nice. Right, we want to make sure we are fully aware of what is going on. This doesn't need to be perfect. I just want to see, are we going up or are we going down? Really like the way this looks. 3-minute candles are pushing up. This is being some of the, oh yeah, true. Okay, I can just click over it, yes. So we don't need the footprint chart too much in this situation because we are actively seeing what's going on, and we can see delta down here as well. So we can see that we have a few off balance sellers sticking out, and we have, you know, buyers that tried to hold down here, we burst through. Or was this a pushback above and we were filling in a big seller? You know, that's something I didn't catch. I think that may have happened while I was looking at the spreadsheets. But as of right now, looks like we're having a, what is this? One down, one up, one down, one up, two down, two up with the big engulfer. And this is at the bottom of the range, and we're finding support here. I mean, this looks kind of bullish to me. Given we have no data, I don't trade the open bracket. But just to kind of get a little test out, making sure that we're good here. Trading locked. So we're going to need a little more range here. That's about 33 points there. Close that chart. You know, I just talked about how tech was the weaker one. And just out of habit, we need to start building. We're just going to immediately liquidate out of that one. Charge that one to the game. Same situation here. Again, that's why we want to kind of get, yeah. So I'm go ahead and get this cleaned up because again, we are really volatile right now. Just updating these. It's a situation that we had yesterday. Just a few different errors. I think this name will save. Yes. Yeah, I don't want to be long the weaker one. This is gonna close. I'm buying right here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Again, I just want something that's real quick where I can get in. I have something that I'm seeing for the something that I'm seeing that's one of my playbooks, but that is showing up on the dom. Just want to be able to get in. That'll give me enough time. I can quickly maneuver out, and we're good. I don't have auto break even on here, which is the only thing that I do want to add. And I'm gonna scoot this out, and then we'll just do the break even like I mentioned. Like right here, there's no reason we should come back here. There's no reason. Again, we're in a higher volatility environment, so right now we're already above our 2 to 1. Again, I'm not looking at the dime right here. I don't see any big orders, so these may be the small hands that I was saying that I liquidating. Again, we bought literally on top of prior IB high. So here, I'm just gonna trail. Actually, you know what? No, I'm a trail because this is what I do, and it's something that I'm working on as well. As far as first off, being able to think while I'm in the trade as well. But we're just trailing. When we have an impulse like this, we 100% need to just follow some of these orders. I would imagine this may retrace a little bit. If these guys can't get filled, that's just going to be more buying pressure to the upside. Let's go ahead and close this. VIX is dropping. Starting to see a nice comeback. Cause like I don't see why we get out of here. I do see that we just tested VWAP and we're starting to sell off from there. I do have some respect for that. And again, we're just doing sim trading right now. We typically don't trade the first bracket. This is a bit of a different situation given the context that we have for the day. Typically, I will say, I do like this on the dom. I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable in this right here. I do want to get out. This has nothing to do with fear or anything. This is just like giving the context. If we break out of this 29 zone, I'm out. And this definitely feels like I'm choking the trade, but this is fine. But yeah, like we just kind of, yeah. I don't like that. It looks like a few people thought the same thing, which is always cool for me to feel. That's feedback. That's feedback directly from the market. That um, some people who have larger accounts and more resources, more resources that I have than I have rather. That would be just a nice sign that we're somewhat on the same page. The little bit of data that we did have was in this candle here, that 530. Again, I don't want to say that this plays any real significance in what we're doing or our vantage point for today, but just out of habit, we'll go ahead and just chart this on here just for the hell of it. We're just gonna leave this on the micros for now, just so we have some other point of reference. But as of right now, it looks like we are going against small time traders with this pullback exactly to the prior IB high. And again, this is the first 30 minutes for my initial balance. I prefer that. We did a good job getting out of tech and getting into the S&P 500 just because we were, oh, I'm sorry about that. So let me put my message log up here. The message log may pop up again. I turned on the setting to make sure that it stays on, so just bear with me. We have some more of these passive buyers. 150 just jumped in and jumped out. That's one person. So we have some other people who are possibly needing to get filled. If we break through here, don't be surprised if we see some sprays from the block orders. Those looks like we have some buyers who are hoping to get filled. They're showing up in like smaller numbers, but it's a lot of fidgeting down here. It's not gonna stay. Yeah. Though we do have 3 minutes, let's go ahead and check some of our other candle sizes. Our other time frames. Still looking bearish. I don't have the candles up right now, but I know that we're trading above that area. This is some of that spraying that I was talking about. These people are going to get a little agitated, lose their patience, because they know this can be a short squeeze, especially if they have bad positioning. There we go. This is what the buyers are waiting on a while ago. We have 10 seconds, so speed the end of the candle. You'll probably see a little bit of flurry of activity. Don't be alarmed, because we have 2 minutes. Yeah, so we have some hesitation here. So sellers are definitely a little nervous. But it's kind of, you can just see where we're at here. This is above that high volume zone. Again, it's very close for like an open auction. So I'm not surprised if we see balance between this huge value area and this key zone that I have listed here, which is the double TPOs. Kind of got above it and sold under it. This is a very key area. If we can get above this area, this is really nice. Again, we did this homework last night. If you want more information, you can look at that. Go ahead and get out of this view. So as of right now, we are still balanced. ES will be a little more sturdier. Buyers are really stepping in. They're really pushing it. And they're getting some reward for it. Reward, rather. Notice the IB stretched out from that 20 points to 40, which has been meaning recently that we may have a nice leg that's incoming. So as we finish this last 30 seconds, let's take a quick view. We'll go ahead and get a new reset here. We got another 20 seconds. That was a nice pickup from tech. Nice. And we still have tech leading that little recent charge. But ES is leading overall, which is, I still feel bearish, either that or it's one of these situations where that breath is looking nice. But we'll see. But again, tech not leading. For me, feels bearish. If you ask me about a particular setup, I'm looking at the bottom of this range, this SOC, given all the coiling. We're going to have a small pullback. Tech is already here. I wouldn't be surprised if we break under. No alarm if we completely fall under. I don't feel comfortable buying these highs, given the structure above us and limited catalyst right now. I'm sure we do have a bunch of sellers that are stuck, but it's hard for you to be stuck when you have control in general. I think we are prepared for the day. We have our orders. Just checking double this higher time frame here. I don't see a place for a shorting opportunity, given the curved kind of ideal here. Yeah, you can kind of jump in and you can throw a wide 40-point stop in here, but I don't think that's ideal. Again, we have hesitations on the sellers. We slow down, but as we go higher, volume is picking up relatively quickly. So people are willing to trade higher prices, but as well as we are for lower. But again, I mean, this is just balance. So I think it's important for us to look on this higher time frame and really look at these areas and seeing that, once we get above here, we're good. So this may be a situation of, what is this, once we get above that 300. So yeah, as of now, we wait. Do I have my zones on here? I don't recall. What number is this? This is chart book number 2. Chart book number 5. Yeah, that's that creep up, and then we're holding quicker. But this isn't as much volume as it was showing at towards the lower prices. But we're steadily increasing. Again, we have a lot of buyers that's trying to get filled that are not having the opportunity to do so. If you are just that kind of behavior, where they're just look, and then they disappear. Like, where are these people? Why are they not showing up again in the hundreds? Because these are like bigger orders that are hoping to be filled. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't want to look too much into this, given the higher volatility that we're at. So I manage my expectations. We're gonna go to this chart drawings. This is on the NQ. So we have our drawings that are going to show up there. Go ahead and do our chart drawings here. And 2. There we go. So we're now looking at the higher time frame. And if we can get above this area, I want to be alerted. And this should be a close above the area, not just... No. Yeah, if you open above. And this may be closed below or open below. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this just for now because I don't want a bunch of alerts. They're trying to pop that lid. Let's just start at the 5 minute candle. Again, everyone's doing well. Tech is starting to lead just a little bit. VIX is still going down. Yeah, that was a very impulsive open. This may be a situation where we end up flagging again. Open test drive into the prior day. Yeah, that trade that I had for the sim, that's really one that I would love to take. I may have to start opening myself up to the A bracket if we're going to execute in that manner. This was just a good session. It's actually good that we had that small lock area where we couldn't do that order, so we delayed. We actually bought at the actual close of that candle, which was nice. The risk was only 5 points, which is definitely different from yesterday. It felt like every damn stop was like 8 to 15 points, depending on your time frame. But all right, we're not gonna belabor this. We looked at this a bunch yesterday. There we go. I would like to see some sort of urgency coming from here. Yeah, this is not good for tech. I would love to short this for tech, but I think I pass. ES is just too strong. But they do like to do that dance where they switch, one leads and the other follows, and then they switch. So don't be surprised if we see a weaker posture. But it's kind of hard to be the case when we're above this SOC. We're flirting with these highs, getting ready to break out of this area. I was thinking about having a buy stop in this area here, but given the way we're like slicing back down, I don't like that. I don't want to creep. I want to impulse through next. Like here, no, this is cheap. No, this is cheap. This is cheap. This is cheap. We want to keep pushing to put some fear into this other side. You want to take a look at this higher time frame on this left side. Again, we have this small overnight zone here. If we can get above there, that'd be ideal. There you go. So I don't think I have a need for this chart at the moment. I do love the, yeah, I just need that back in the background as like a feeder chart for my zones. So again, we have quite a bit to work with. This is just overnight. Definitely much more bullish on the S&P 500. Just switching time frames a little bit. Want to check out that overnight session? We can do that on the 138-minute candle. So I'm not going to do that on a 3 minute and work around. It doesn't make sense. This is going to be my trigger chart. This is that breakthrough that I was hoping for, saying buy at the buy stop. I mean, that'll get you a good 8 points right here, but do we hold? Again, I don't like the slicing through. I would like to see how we pull back, but we'll need to see how the the NASDAQ pulls back as well. Notice all the volume here. So, I mean, that's pretty bullish right there. Yeah, this is There's a lot of volume that was putting through. They were trying to push this bad boy down, and we're holding up. Exactly. Again, the fact that I'm noticing these things, and of course I need to execute on it. You know, we don't need to. You don't get paid to know stuff. Look at the delta right here. This was a. We need to get out, and we also have sellers here, which is pretty important. And we're going down here. It's a possibility that buyers may get exhausted. I didn't see a big order slap through, so we'll see. That was a 30-point failure for tech at those highs. We burst through and appear to be getting rejected. Again, we still have multiple levels. We still have 20 points of range from the highs. NQ still has 200 points, so we are well under this structure from the overnight session. But if we're going to do that, we might as well go into a higher time frame and kind of look at it. Let's take a quick peek at this footprint, just consolidated reference. We saw this, we saw that, we're seeing this. These are those sellers that we were talking about. Not only did we, was that some, what do you call it? Passive engulfing, passive absorption, distribution. We also pushed it back down. All these buys up here, all the activity that was going on towards these highs burst through. Now we're back in that area. This is some of what I was referring to, the way we're kind of slinking around, slinking up and slinking down. VIX is still breaking lower than yesterday's range. But this is something that can just absolutely moon to the upside. So again, we don't, actually, let me check. Ideally, we should be looking for a pullback to this SOC range, ideally maybe the VWAP, possibly mid, given this big range, maybe even to this impulse here. Notice the breaking. These are these passive buyers being filled. I'm sure they're happy. Yeah, and they're stacking up again. Again, this is lower in the book. So this is a nice, hopeful attempt on an IB high. We're not even getting to our IB high here. I want something in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and put a I know there's a different way you can do that, but let's just do this one time. All right, we know buyers are here at the 5280s. It's really the only thing that stood out. And then down there at the bottom, if you really wanted to, I believe I have a study. I can put the delta on the side, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear out this delta on the chart, on the DOM. This is the 80s right there. And then the 35, there was like a real big here on the DOM, but this is factoring in the rest of this information for the whole day. So again, we'll take some of this with a grain of salt, but we have the majority of the buyers that are going to be down here that you can see. So man, I'll actually leave that on. I like the way this looks here. And this is just slicing back down. Because if you were to buy at this breakout here, you would have been back to neutral after going up 8 points. If you didn't go ahead and take your where your stop would have been. Yeah, I mean that would end up being 10 points if you want to have it below there. Unless you're gonna do just like a pure like breakout with a few ticks below you, a few points below you. Maybe you'd have got your return there. That's about 11 points. If you would have got filled. Again, we want to be on the lookout to see if situation where they flip sentiment and we have tech that's leading. We can look here specifically. You can see that the S&P 500 is still leading. We have tech that's leading to the downside. I mean, hey, they are leading. This is that possible short that I was referring to, but I'm not shorting this. I want to look for if we can get a liquidation below, I'll be open to maybe heading towards that prior day mid. Because we're getting back into this SOC range. This may be a potential buy spot for the NQ. We'll see how they respond. We're back at the IB high. So this is a nice buy here. This will be a nice buy here as well. But do we see it in the dawn? We're at 1 minute in. 15-minute candle just finished. We opened here, had a small wick and closed above here. Boom, boom. It's a nice little hold above. It's that buying that I was referring to. I mean, ideally you can enter and these can be scalps. This is kind of how I used to trade, just without the DOM. You'll have to get in and get out, and I really don't want to have that approach. I kind of want to just take my time. I only have a few bullets that I can shoot. So as of right now, I'm eyeing a possible retest. Retest somewhere in here in this area, this impulse, all this. Though this is nice and it's on top of that 5S. However, outside of a little scalp, I wouldn't have been. I'm not interested in taking that. And talking out loud is helping me. VIX starting to pick back up a little bit. We're back in this range. Possibility we may have some more downside, but again, my previous point still stands on where we are relatively with the IB, relative to the IB, and the top of this SOC range that we're finally breaking out of, which is also the high of these impulses. Can be possibly seen as well, actually that was 3 minute up, 3 minute down, so that would be a bounce off that high, that opening high, which is a buying symbol for some people, a buying signal for some people rather. This is that situation where tech is trying to lead, but again, this extended ranges, you have to get in and kind of get out. And that's not really what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for a more meaningful relationship. I don't want a one night stand. So, I'll wait. Let's do this up breach in here. Take a quick look at the higher time frame. We're starting to bust through that area. Just gonna leave this on the higher time frame for now. I'm gonna write in my journal. Take a quick break, close my eyes, give some gratitude. I'll be back. Alright, I had stepped away for a brief moment, so hopefully you're able to catch some of that. So the that seems a bit bearish for me. You saw us, we had multiple rallies upwards and we tried to close, but we were not going at the same time. So it happened like maybe three, maybe four times. Went up, slid down, went up, slid down, went up, slid down. And then NASDAQ kind of led ES there for a moment. And then they both fell at the same time. And now we're having a little more excursion lower below. I think that's just an example of a lack of confidence, including the VIX is rising. Now it'd be a situation to go in here, and that was the end of the bracket as well. So yeah, it's a possibility that we may have a more of an engulfing lower. I do want to try this to the downside. I'm a little late to the party, so where would my stop be? Yeah, I'm gonna wait. So let's focus on an attempt to buy. But that was definitely bearish in that little situation. It may be a situation of like a scalp. Yeah, nice range. You had to get in, probably get out above this high, and then this high is at 75. Ah, yes. Let's check out the delta. About even. Definitely sellers trying. Wasn't looking too much at the bid and the offer. Take a quick look. Higher time frame. Possibly rejected from that area. And again, I just see this as a continuation of yesterday. We're still holding above that area, so I mean, this is still neutral-ish. But this is that pullback that I was looking for. So I mean, this is where I need to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm gonna look. Tesla utilities selling. All right, this is that was a 3 minute candle there. Start of a new minute. We need to be ready if there's a particular impulse. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna leave this up because it may be a impulse trade kind of thing. If we do get in that situation, we may simply just hold above here, which is a trade in itself. Notice that tech is trying to push, but I don't want to front. Well, actually, this wouldn't be front running because we had a hold in this candle So yeah, this is what kind of bothers me. Just given the situation that we saw on the dome, I would like to buy here. That would be a smaller stop too. That would be a stop of 5 points. That would be a trade that made sense. This is just me being late, being a little a lack of clarity of what we actually are looking for. So that would end up being about 71 because I would have got in a little bit late. So I mean, we'd be looking at a 1 hour right now. So imagine how we'll be feeling. So if at least targeting at 2 to 1, that'd be at the VPOC at the 5280. Should be the VPOC of I think the RTH because I think that gets reset. That was the end of that 5 minute candle. Nice little close. I'm sure that has some bears on their heels. And this is that short that I was talking about. Where will my stop be? My stop will be somewhere like in here. And then the market is going to gauge the activity that we're seeing. Will they get more activity higher or will they get more activity lower? Be nervous to try this. A short. I feel like this will be getting in the way. I really don't want to short this. But maybe a situation where we I'm gonna go ahead. Just want to see if we're gonna have more of that downside. If we start pumping back up, it's a good chance I may liquidate this. Given how NQ is starting to push back up again, it's a possibility I may paper hand this. Got another 10 seconds. 5 seconds. All right, got 3 minutes left for the to end of this 5 candle. I'm out. I want to see if they have this stop run. I may try to get on the backside if we look above and fail, but tech is holding up pretty decently right now. And if anything, I know it's just a little scary, but I should probably go more towards shorting the Nasdaq, if anything. That's a modest 14 points. Give that a little bit of room. To be a potential mean reversion play. Another 15 seconds. I'll be out at 40, 49.25. ES is leading its way down, which is nice to see. I'm putting this at break even. I'm not stopping out on this. I want to see him exit soon. 10 seconds, I'm out. Again, same thing, that little spray. I like seeing that as well. I like seeing that as well from a not confirmation, but from feedback from the market. Sorry, take a deep breath. That was good. It's a good execution. Take our time there. We're still on play for the potential retest. I'm gonna take a short break, and I will be right back. Let me close this. It's a possibility that this may pop through. This is another reason I want to get out because I'm not fooling around with this. We'll take a quick. We'll leave this here on the higher time frame. Notice how this is becoming a little more bullish. Some people are starting to believe. We still have a lot of time left, and we're still in a downtrend. I will be back.
Up breach.
Well, we broke through those levels. Nice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Tech started to go with them at the same time. I didn't want to do the breakout, the buy stop breakout, but that doesn't mean that that has to be the only way that we trade that. And I wouldn't want to get in here. That just would have been poor positioning. Yeah, just the side that I took would have been a good buying opportunity on the macro perspective, as that's what we were kind of talking about in pre-market to a degree. But we're not over this area for the S&P 500. We are over this area for the Nasdaq, which is more in the immediate trend, more bullish. So the fact that the more immediate one was catching up on the short term, that's very bullish in nature, especially given the fact that we went through our IB high. Actually, let me double check because that may not be the case. This is the micro. Yeah, they didn't touch their prior IB high. Yeah, look at this open. Boom, boom. Yeah, then I ended up getting in, was it here? 48. Yeah, that's a whole 50-point move. It was, no, it was right here actually. Yeah, that's wild. So what I wrote in my journal yesterday was to get in early and stay in. The seller up here was to get in early and stay in. That's still applicable for today. We're gonna take a quick screenshot or snapshot rather and see where we are. And this was at 7 o'clock, I believe, not 45. I just didn't update it. I want to see how we behave. The specifics. Yeah. I really like the commentary I had earlier with this IB high testing and this SOC high testing at the same time. I believe if I look at this in hindsight, it's possible that those sellers that were at, um, I forget the level. I thought it was 53.10 to be honest, but there was a 800 lot seller on a particular price and they didn't get filled. I don't believe they got filled because I thought it was higher, but I remember seeing 53.10. I digress. So I wonder if that was some exhaustion and people just taking profits as well. I'm curious if that seller didn't get filled and if he has more. But going back to this IB high explanation, again, this is the first 30 minutes for me for my initial balance. But we were testing that zone here. And they were testing their SOC high at the same time. So this is a particular trade for me. We look below, we look above, and then we're finding support. We're channeling below, and we're trending up above. This is no longer about the SOC here. This is specifically about the IB high and holding above it, holding the 5S, the 5 smoothing average, this hold here, and even this impulse there, even buying from there is nice, but you would just need to look at the pullbacks on the actual DOM, which I think that's something that I do well. And like Jaguar from Convergent mentioned, that's going to be a superpower for me. So this is just some mental notes when I go back and review this. To We're not looking at the exact setup, and those are my variables, and I enter upon those variables only. I just use it as somewhat of a framework, and I use my DOM to fill in the gaps. If I can turn down this fan. So this is a situation where we hold. It's a possibility that I'm just going to step away, because I really don't want to just sit here and watch this grind up. Take a quick look at this. Again, this is what we saw. We saw the delta. We saw the high volume. We saw the lack of volume down here, but it would fizzle out and kind of froth. And as we will go up, you would see more activity. So again, we saw this on the footprint, which is why I don't look at it for too much. But it is nice for a visual perspective to kind of go back and see what we saw, opposed to looking at the DOM, which I may or may not kind of alter. Because if I reload this, I'll lose all of it. Lighter volume, right? Lighter volume, a little more. No, that's an 8. It's about neutral. Buyers. I'm just seeing where everyone is positioned. I'm gonna switch this to a 65-minute. You got sellers hanging on for dear life with buyers in really good position, and sellers are pretty much showing up here at the top, and buyers are giving a solid effort. We're trying to continue filling in that gap. We're gonna switch to the 65-minute here as well. And again, we have been in this gap, been in that thing, and we're pushing upwards above this high here. We're seeing a lot of buyers. We're going to need to see some results, or it's just not going to end well. We're going to have sellers stepping in. And again, we can look at the DOM here and see. So we're going to go ahead and reset the delta on the DOM. So we just have a visual reference of effort that's being exerted from both sides. Some extension to the buys there. I'm assuming the spread. So if the spread is thinning out like that, of course that's just been the case over the past week. So I've seen it spread out to a couple of points. I was even getting slippage on one micro. It was like it was 3 ticks yesterday. One of my stops. Yeah, we got another 5 minutes. And I wouldn't be surprised if we balanced above here, between here and just in this whole zone. We can build balance on top of this. This would be lovely. I don't see any reason that we can't have a big solid impulse stay up. Typically, from what people have been showing with the VIGs and days we had these outliers and high volume days, it typically ends up being like a short-term bottom. I know this may become a situation where it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That may be the case. This may be a case where we just completely smack back down and U-turn and go to hell right now. Who knows? But think it's important to be aware that if this is a short-term bottom, looking at the previous day, which I really love this from NQ. Also, if we get under here, if we break through here, I'm immediately looking to trade around that, whether it's on a breakout or a retest and fail. For the S&P 500, again, staying above these zones will be pretty critical. I like breaking it out into these sections here to where I can see it. Line in the sand, just key congestion. And then this is a zone. This is our first zone that we need to win. And then we should be able to fill in that gap, which I 100%. I think I have it marked on my other chart. I just don't have it pulling. It would be an orange zone. Again, what I said earlier still applies with the way we've been breaking out and pulling back. Nothing has changed. This is much more bearish. Personally, I'm scared to get into the short side right now, given that we're still inside of this impulse. But we are favoring the short side. You know, the seller's having control. So this is a situation where you have to have a plan. And the reason that I have some hesitancy and I'm a little fearful of this is because I don't have a plan for this. You know, and I did it a while ago. You know, so you know, if you do it one time, make it easier for you to do it yourself the next time. Though, just from the looks of this, it seems like that switch has happened, and the S&P 500 may be a little weaker. We're looking at utilities pulling back, industrials, finance as well, healthcare. That was that switch that I referred to earlier. So now tech would be the stronger side. Actually, I think they're already stronger. Not stronger. I really want to watch the vocabulary that I'm using in these situations. Trying to find the better way to explain it. But their short-term posture was more bearish than ES. But overall, the immediate time frame was more bullish. And it seems that they have firmed up in the morning session. So now, as of right now, I think we've pushed through. This is when I need to use my other chart. Now we pushed through this area. Actually, let's switch this to maybe 1 hour. Push this through. And we want to see if we can hold, just like in our plans. If we can hold in this area, we'll need to find a reason, a way to buy. And this may be a situation where you buy on, like, you know, one of these here, where, you know, you close, you know, break below here. Well, actually, you didn't break it. You hit the open. You know, it's a possibility. This is where, you know, a buy is. We're both hitting this 5 smooth and average, and we have. Oh, and this is the end of the hour too. So this would be a somewhat nice. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to get in. I may possibly try. Though this isn't a pullback, and I feel like this would do damage to what I've been doing. But I mean, it still makes sense for me, and I feel like this is when I should trade. But now this is kind of late, and if I enter now, I'll be entering on like a little small pullback and everything. So this is when you have to have zero hesitation and fear and clarity and just what you're looking for. So, you know, that's a mental issue there. And this is also what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna put on Pricesquawk because I'm getting a little bored. So this is just going to be the order book that we're hearing audibly. So I'll do a little less talking, and we can get the mic on the field and hear what's happening, if you will. Ah, pardon me. This is the Nasdaq that we're hearing. Although this is in points, We have the order book being played by typical. We still have our block sales, our block orders that are coming in on the left, and we're hearing these, but we're just hearing the actual orders kind of coming in, and you'll be able to hear the flow of it. If it's smaller orders, it's not going to be as loud. The louder that it gets, the more volume is taking place. So we're going to just turn this down just a little bit. This is the buying that I was referring to. But is it sustained? Look where we are in our structure here. Getting ready to push through versus sliding back in. Block buys, the block orders. Yeah, notice it's getting louder. It's higher volume. Turning down the main component, not the sizes. Sellers stepping in. Some people are trying to get filled. Where was that at? O3s? Why are you trying to get out of O3s? So is that more of we want to add to our shorts, or now let's get out for the people who are kind of stuck up here? You know, just something to think about. Notice Pricesquawk stopped, died down until we fall through. We're gonna get more activity, or maybe when we get towards the highs, we'll have a little more activity. But as of right now, I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna get my eye mask actually, and then I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna put this on a brief mute. I'll talk once Pricesquawk has something to say. Okay, maybe I won't close my eyes. What happened? Slip through. It's gonna be this 5 minutes, first 5 minutes of the hour. I'm sure some people sitting on the sidelines. All right, let's wait 5 minutes. We'll see what happens. Should be a little flurry here. Yeah, they're waiting. They're waiting. Volume's picking up, and it's real chill too. This is day traders. It's like, all right, let's get in. Let's go ahead and get in real quick. All right, go ahead. All right, let's just go close. Gonna go down. All right, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. See how it stops? Lighter volume. Wait, hold on. Wait. What? Then you have some bigger orders coming in. Okay, somebody's up in here playing. Okay. Still not too much. Still not too much. Yeah, we're waiting. You can check out the volume profile. Once we get in this area, yeah, once we pass these 01s or these 94s, is that where that stop is? Yeah. Yeah, below 90. Oh, but is it continuation? Okay. Still light volume. Look out for the 94s. Look out 94s. If I was good, I would put a sell stop in, actually. So I'm going to do this on sim because I need to test this. So I would do 52 and 94. Oh, shit, I didn't do that right. 52.94. Why didn't this one? Oh, it's my stop. No? No, I don't know. And I'm trying to get a... This is why you usually need to just do it on the dime. But it's fine. Alright, I'm closing my eyes again. Good Lord. Let a man rest. Man. Yeah, trying short will be breaking what I was saying. Yeah, I think I'm gonna look to this short if we break these 94s. Just executing this. I think I just need to do this on the dom. I'm just not really prepared for this as much as I need to be. Or should be. I don't see how to... I'm trying to get this price here. Yeah, I have to do it on a dom. Put this above this high. That's about 8 points. Oh, crap. I can just do this on a dom. I'm tripping. I mean, it's pretty much speaking for itself. VIX trying to come back up. Yellow line on the DOM is the should be the IB high for the hour. Yeah, my target is in here. I don't even want to come close to this area right here. Absolutely not. The 70s, I'd rather just give me up, honestly. And I'm gonna say like in here. So just important to know that I really like that trade entry that I got, and I have an actual target. The putting my stop above the or below the market, right in that valley of that of this profile is now filled out, but this was a lot more vacant. We just shot through. So as soon as I got in, I was directly in the money. So this helps with some nice selling on tech. I like to see that. But that makes so that my entry is fairly decent, to be honest. I'm gonna go ahead and move the break even. I don't want to see this come back. Really? I take that back. I'm gonna put my stop here because we shouldn't retrace past that other candle. There's a possibility that we may come up here, but that'll let me de-risk a little bit. Took off another 2 points or so. I like the continuation that I'm seeing from Tech, who we had our whole conversation about Tech a while ago. Oh no, my candle blew out. I'm glad I did this on Sim while I tried to figure this out. I don't have my orders on Jigsaw. I ordered through Sierra chart. Ideally, I would just place it on Jigsaw, but I can't. That cost. And this is why I say positioning matters. I didn't want to get in and enter at the close of this candle because we'll be taking heat on this trade as we are now. If my theory makes sense that we'll go through that high volume, the low volume node, then ideally I have protection from the trade just from that standpoint, and we have to get back up, climb back up that area. I'm gonna close my eyes. Sorry, I was looking at the dime a lot yesterday, and I just need a break because I do have work in like 30 minutes. So you just bear with me. I'm just a little tired. So I had this eye mask over my eyes. I'm not looking at the screen. No, I don't hear anything from Pricesquawk. Ideally, I would like to have a few more zones so I know where we're at, but it's not that serious. I'll know if we're doing anything meaningful because of the volume will pick up. But I digress. Learning how to use the DOM in that manner. My risk management may not be. Hold on, I'm listening. Sound like we just got stuffed pretty lower, trying to fight back up. Again, I have my eyes closed, squeezing through, and then we stop. Maybe, hold on, I'm gonna open my eyes. Maybe we're near the highs. No? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I heard getting stuffed pretty bad. Alright. I'm looking at the screen again. But my point with the DOM is being able to, my risk management doesn't just have to be just narrative driven. It can also be from a structure standpoint. Being able to get in like that, that was the perfect entry. I don't think I had any heat on that trade. And if we can, and another thing that was pretty cool. Hopefully you caught it. We got through that zone from a block order, so I think someone else may have kind of noticed a similar concept, or maybe it just happened to work that way. Um, Actually, I think that's the whole point of it. Allowed me to kind of think. But if we're defending that area, there really should be where some of the stops are. So there should be someone's like puking out and we puke through it. So I get in at 40 at the 4. I was hoping that maybe like I had it on 25 and 50. I was like, nah, like, just in case we kind of hover and tick up. I just want that once we're in the middle of this zone, we should squeeze through. So we squeeze through. So once there is a block order that came in, I think it was about here. I believe it kind of just spat through, and then we started out like right here and starting the battle. So I'm in here just chilling. And if I can get like bigger size on this, bigger size being a couple contracts or maybe even like one mini, this would be nice to have no heat on your trade. But that only work in certain scenarios, and it's a very like nuanced case. And nuance being, since I'm bringing it up and I'm talking and not typing, I might as well. But nuance being the possible bear market that we're starting, the VIX and the fear just in general. VIX are also at their lows for the past like day or so. We're trading in like a gap, so it's a possibility of a potential reversal or a move up. We have the pullbacks that we've been having near the highs. If you look at the structure of the day, there is no like real clean breaks. We have a clean break here. We have a clean break like here. But the rest of this was kind of grindy. And as we're grinding these pullbacks, these are not 2 point pullbacks. This is 83 to this is a 10 point pullback right there from the high. This is a 9 point pullback. From here, this is a 15 point pullback. You know what I mean? So there's some battling that's going on here. So just understanding that we're in that same theory, um, it just made sense. And then the fact that we have this low volume node, it's going to be the same situation on the other side. Are they going to be able to burst through? Which they wholeheartedly may be able to, but they have to go through this. They have to go through this area, this zone, and then they can push through, which was the same situation there. So ideally, you would think maybe you can like flip and go to the other side. I know there are some traders who do that. You know what I mean? But that's not where we're going here. We want to trade on the who's in control over the long term, because if this is indeed balance, we're going to find some sort of balance in this zone. Again, this is the Nasdaq. We got above these two little tweezers here. Possibility we may fall back into this range. But yeah, Bears for sure want to play some defense. Selling is much more pronounced. We're just doing the volume profile from that gap close. We hit this high volume shelf. We're kind of pulling back again. They want to be able to build volume in this area. If we can squeeze below the 78s, we have a good 30 points that we can take out and still get above this area, which is the area that I'm worried about most. Is these low 60s for the bear case, that is. 60s being in here, which is more of overnight, and then just a lot in general. So this is like scary structure for bears. This is a lot to get through. High volume too, and without any kind of particular catalyst. I don't know. But this seems like a nice buy for the Bulls, but I don't want to take myself out of this trade. So if I ever get in a situation like this, we have some consolidation. Well, we have a breakthrough, a nice entry a nice progression on my entry, and then we have a channeling down. I don't want to see this shit come back up. If this comes back up, I'm out. So instead of me getting out my trade and flattening, I'll move it to break even instead. Again, just thinking out loud for future reference. And again, ES was they're both just starting to look weak in general. But I'm gonna bring this down a little bit and we'll trail this kind of sandwich. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break, mute this mic.
Stop filled.
Alright, clearly I've been stopped out. This is that buying potential, like I was saying. So I'll be interested in seeing like a little pullback here, and I'll be willing to enter with the potential for another leg up. But like honestly, I feel like this is just like a little chasing. I mean, this was a part of my initial plan, and yeah, I much rather. I think I'm just gonna wait. Yeah, I don't want to buy up here. This is kind of forcing. This is why I was saying we should probably just leave it break even. Who knows? This may reverts back upwards, but I think it'd be a better idea to leave it at break even. But I think that's a good middle ground that I had with. I do respect that this is a nice buying opportunity. So I just want to sandwich that in the middle. We'll just drag up to stop. We'll let the idea go. I'm done. I'm over it. We have more information. You don't get any smarter after a trade. However, this is part of my plans and we're neutral. So I'm not going to overstay my welcome here. I just want to observe right now and move on. And plus, I'm looking. Ooh, this sounds bad, but I'm looking for what I'm looking for. That was an opportunity then, not so much opportunity that I'm seeing now. Now we have more information with this. However, there's another 2 minutes left in this candle, so we'll see. I do like that there's no wick to the upside on that. We typically see that in a bearish case for both indices. Real small wicks above, hiding under this 5 smoothing average. Liquidity is not being taken on that sell side on that first attempt. There we go. And that was 102. Do we have continuation? Or do we have more of that sliding down? I'd be interested to see if we have some sort of like a major pullback, a quick flush. I'd be open to buy, especially near this IB high, which is both VWAPs. Similar setup for the NASDAQ. You just have to be patient. And that'll also be above those 60s that I was talking about. That would be ideal. That was a nice hold from Bears. Because it's just starting to look like that compression downwards. I have a couple plays for that. I have it labeled as a smash ball, as in Super Smash Brothers. And that is like a spike up, another leg up, and then this low channel down, and then we just hit sideways for a little while. Especially given as we're getting ready to close into this bracket, I wouldn't be surprised to see that squeeze below. And that'll be the last 30 minutes of Euro. That's funny. I just got stopped out. The only reason I said it'd be better to leave it at break even at that time was just given the volatility. But I didn't want to. I think that's trading with like scared money, to be honest. All right, possibility we may have that pullback. If we do have that pullback and it's not sustained, that's not something I want to stay. That's not something I want to stay in for terribly long. No open orders. This is that flush I was referring to. And we have one more minute. Looks like they're stalling, but I'm a little nervous to get in here, to be honest. I kind of want to break this range, the 65s. That or see a possible hold. I don't want to just get ran over. 15 seconds. Starting to pull away. 2 seconds. There's no pop. There we go. But is it sustained? Yeah, I don't like the way that looks. Industrial's leading us down. Smaller stop. This isn't too much here. It's going to be simple. I expect to get possibly ran over. I may even flatten a little early. This is the 4-7. Another 30 seconds for this 1 minute. Yeah, I don't like that. Stop field. Nice. And they need to hold that. If not, I'm out. Nah, I'm okay with seeing this come back a little bit. We need to hold. This needs to be erect. I'm putting this at break even. We're not coming back. 10 seconds. I'm out. Let that hold. That's exactly what I was looking for. But something just doesn't feel right. And this may just be me. And I'm okay with that. But right now, something just doesn't feel right. Yeah, that up and that back down, this doesn't feel right. So go to all-time highs at this point. I don't care. Next trade. I'm gonna go ahead and close these. I'm not trying to look at my profit or anything. Not trying to look at that. I just want to be prepared. And I can always get back in too if I feel strongly about it. I'm getting close to wrapping this up. I'm gonna start work soon. So I'm gonna go on mute, but I'm gonna let this finish. Now we may have that continuation. What does it look like on the 5 minute? I'm sure that's getting people happy. Alright, I'm going on mute.
block by. Block cell. Block by. Block by. Block by. Block by. block by, block by, block cell, block cell.